Hey guys, this is Aaron. There's been a lot I wanted to say since March of last year when the world as we knew it changed, but I heard God tell me to wait. Over the past year, I've felt fear, anxiety, anger, and hurt. I've been disgusted by social media, by politics, and by the insurrection. But above all else, I've been convicted. For me, 2020 wasn't the year that God wanted me to talk. It was the year that God wanted me to listen. And now that 2020 is over, I'm ready to talk about the things that I've learned and I'm still learning. And it's these convictions that I'm ready to share with all of you. So welcome to my COVID convictions. Hey everybody, welcome to episode 2 of COVID Convictions. Thank you for the feedback on the first video. Remember, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. So today what I want to talk about is something that I wasn't planning on talking about because I wasn't planning on getting COVID, but I did. A little over 2 weeks ago I tested positive. Wasn't much of a shock in the sense that I knew that I was in contact with someone who had it. So went to Rite Aid, took the drive-through test, and the results came back positive. So, so what I want to talk about is kind of some of the things I've learned coming out of it. So I experienced symptoms. Nothing like the major, deep cough or the loss of taste or smell. But, I did experience, some diarrhea, some extreme fatigue. Those were pretty much my only symptoms. But even though I didn't experience the full gamut of the symptoms, there are some things I've learned from just the mental aspect of having COVID. So one of the things I learned is just how tough the isolation can be. I work as a counselor with teens with substance use and mental health problems, and isolation is a big warning sign that something's going wrong with someone. When we tend to isolate when we're experiencing very hard times, so to be forced to isolate was tough. I felt a little guilty with putting all the burden on my wife. We have 3 kids, so since I was forced to isolate, my wife kind of ended up having 4 kids because she had to take care of me as well. So she was, taking kids to school, doing remote learning at home, taking care of our little one, and also, getting me food and things like that. So definitely felt a little guilt from burdening her. And there's also guilt in the sense of, understanding the fact that because of, my age and not having, any pre-existing medical conditions, I don't have to fear it as much as other people do. So, I got it. Like I said, had minor symptoms and, was fine. So one of the things I've kind of learned coming out of the isolation and out of having it is that to be more understanding of other people that are gonna get it, and that everyone's not gonna have the same experience I did. And understanding that other people are going to have, maybe deeper fears of this virus because they have different backgrounds. They might have the pre-existing conditions, they might be in a different age range, they might live with someone with pre-existing conditions. So, there's just, you never know what someone's background is. So one of the things I've kind of learned is to not put, my feelings on or about COVID on other people. I can't expect other people to have the same beliefs or that I have about COVID. So It's one thing I learned. Another thing I really learned is, that we have to really submit to authority. I mean, it's one of the verses that a lot of Christians go back to, Romans 13:1, where it talks about submitting to all authorities because, there's no governing authorities that haven't been appointed by God. And I feel a lot of the times we like to pick and choose with that verse. So it's we kind of can maybe only apply that to the politicians we agree with or the rules that we agree with. But when it's clear, it doesn't say submit to the authorities that you voted for or submit to the authorities that you agree with. It says submit to all authorities. So that was tough because I did not want to isolate from my family when I had to. It was our oldest daughter's birthday that weekend, so it was the first one that I missed. So I didn't want to isolate, but it's what I was told to do, by doctors. And another thing is I don't want to be away from my church body, my friends, my small group. But again, because it's not only me that's had the COVID. There's been other people in the house that have had it, or that have been in contact with people. So just because of all the timelines, we haven't been able to go to church the whole month of January. So that's been really tough to submit to authorities because, I, as a believer, I go to church, right? And I'm involved in my church. I'm involved in the small group. So to be told that I can't do that, it's tough. And I may not agree with it, but like I said before, we can't pick and choose what authority we, that we follow. We have to submit to all authority, like the Bible says. So that was something else that I learned. But another thing that was really eye-opening about this whole thing is just how easy it can be to support people. I think sometimes, especially with something like a pandemic, we maybe don't appreciate how any support can be huge to people. So one of the ways that I was and my family was supported during this time is that I had a lot of people from my church just send me Venmo money so I could order food. And since we couldn't leave, and since like I said, my wife had to take care of everyone in the house, it was just a real blessing for her, particularly, to not have to worry about cooking meals on certain days. So and especially since with the virus, we can't travel as much as we want to, and if someone has it, they have to isolate from people. So we do live at a time where you can send someone money in a few clicks on your phone. You can order food for somebody without even having to dial and talk to someone, and you just hit a few buttons and order food. So I know one of the things I've learned is just to remember that it's not that difficult to support people, and that it can go a long way just to take someone's mind off of what they're dealing with by just taking one thing off of their plate. So taking that responsibility that to make food or or cook food for a family, to take that off someone's plate for a night, can be really powerful. And another thing that I learned coming from this is just to really appreciate the Christian relationships, the support from your church that we have access to as believers. Like I said, I haven't been in church for the whole month of January, and I haven't been able to go to my small group, and I've just really learned how important those relationships are. And it's more than just, having people to, pray with you or, give you a good word or things like that. I'm not saying that that's not important, but there's just something so comforting, and there's just something that's so like peaceful about being around other believers. Like, I just miss hanging out with other believers because there's just a comfort that comes with it. I feel like I'm blessed when I'm with other believers, whether or not they're giving me like some crazy revelation or praying over me. Like, just being in their presence is great, because, you know, if you're in their presence, you're also in God's presence, because, you know, we carry God with us wherever we go. So, I mean, the more Christians you're around, it's like, you know, the more of Jesus that you experience, just because, like I said, we carry God in us wherever we go. So, you know, I hope this is a little encouragement for you. I think it's good to kind of just remember the little things, especially as we wait out the rest of this virus. You know, look for the little ways that you can support someone. You know, write a letter to someone if you know someone with COVID that can't go out. Like, little things like that speak volumes to people that are hurting or in need. So, yeah, that's it for episode 2. Again, please, if you like what I've talked about, you know, like it, comment on it, subscribe to the channel. If you don't like what I talked about, let me know why. You know, I appreciate any and all comments. So that's it, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.